actually played a football game?
No, not really. I think
Okay.
I think it
Okay.
was a scrimmage to them, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
By
checking.
the way, 162 games, way too many games for any season for anything.
Yeah,
Absolutely. A
especially a
That
hundred.
boring
is
fucking sport
Make it
like
a hundred.
basketball.
especially, yeah, just a clean 100. Who thought 162 when they were like doing the baseball schedule rules and stuff? Who was like, hey, it'd be better than like 80 or 100 games? Let's go 120. And then some dude in the back was like, you know what? Let's just go 140. Then one guy was like
162.
160. No, I bet they land on even number. And then one dude was like, it'd be even better. Let's really fuck them up and do like 162 or some shit.
It's
And then someone
definitely
just
just
ran
some
with it.
fat fuck with a cigar
Yeah.
sitting in a room,
Oh
Whitey
yeah.
McWhiterson, like, I say we do 162
Oh
games,
yeah,
you see?
sitting
They
there. No, no, no. What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
they could actually, if they wanted to, make the MLB season 100 games. They could end the season in late August, like the regular season, then
Mhm.
do the postseason in September.
Yep.
So then they're not competing with like football and stuff in the middle of
With
football
more
season.
entertaining sports. Yeah, that's what they should have done. I swear to God, Liam, you're on the right track. I bet it was this one guy who sits in the meeting room and doesn't say anything and just went, and everybody went, oh no, Phil's about to talk. And he just said 162. And everybody went, okay, yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, sir. Yes,
Makes
sir.
sense.
Stupid.
I got
Fucking
I got
stupid.
another sidebar real quick.
Let's go. Why
Just
not? Because like this isn't going to
yeah.
be a long episode because I don't know what else we can say about this team.
So either.
I
But
know.
yeah,
So I was thinking about this, and I texted it to a couple people the other day, and I want to get your guys' thoughts because I know you're big football guys. Mike, I know you're huge into the football scene. Liam, I know you are too. But how would you guys feel?
multiple football teams for Liam.
Yes. How would you guys feel hypothetically if they took out Thursday night football and they did Friday night football instead? How'd you feel about that?
I will raise you one better. I want Saturday and Sunday
They
football.
can't they can't do Saturday because it would interfere with college, and they already have a deal in place. They can't
Not
do
my
it.
problem.
I'm not saying it is.
That's what
It's
I
a
would
legal
want.
thing. It's a legal
Fuck.
thing.
I don't give.
Uh,
Okay, so we don't break the law. No, but honestly, I wouldn't. I would keep it Thursday because I think Friday. I don't know. Like
but the product is
Friday night.
so terrible. Like these games are terrible.
They've
But
been a
also,
little
that's a
better.
problem with the league. The league can schedule better
Yeah.
games. If the
Yeah.
league scheduled the equivalent of like the 2019 Rams Chiefs game, if you just hit us with like thrilling matchups, and
Yeah.
like maybe it's not their fault, like maybe they're guessing what's the Thursday night football schedule? Because like
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah. Pull it up, pull it up.
Thursday
Because what I
I,
think
night.
they could do, they could just take some of like the better games, or like you know what? Don't even like do it kind of like a few week like not on a week to week basis, but just like
yeah.
you have your first three Thursday night football games. Then after that, you kind of it depending on where you are, what the games are, teams will get flexed to a Thursday night game. I think that would
Okay, so in theory, like it starts out really hot. Chiefs Ravens should be
Mhm.
a premier matchup. It was a great game. Isaiah likely
Yep.
caught the fucking ball.
Yep.
Bills Dolphins, not thrilling, but like division rivalry. It's like putting the
Division. Yep.
Ravens Steelers on there. I understand.
Early
Right.
on, so health should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, week three, Jets Patriots. Don't know what you were thinking with that one. Cowboys Giants. Both these teams should be banned from prime time.
They should
Falcon.
never play on. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
ever. Falcons Bucks, which was a great game, but like
But
not a
still,
super
it's
sick matchup.
Thursday
It's
night
really just
football.
all divisional rounds. 49ers, Seahawks, what that was when I was in Nashville.
right.
Like cool, I guess. Again with the division rivalries. Then we have Broncos Saints. No one gives a fuck about the Broncos Saints. Rams Vikings ended up being an okay game.
But
Uh
here's
Yeah,
the
I could
thing,
see that
right?
being a decent. Yeah, Rams
To
Vikings.
that point, all I'm just saying for the Friday game, I think if you give that extra day of preparation for teams,
Mhm.
that extra day of rest and everything, it
Okay.
could turn into a better quality product for some of these teams that have to come off a short week anyway. So that's all I was thinking of. Like
That's
I
true.
understand the
No,
appeal.
that's
Like I
true.
get the appeal. I get the appeal of Thursday night. I really
But
do.
also, there's nothing going on in the middle of the week. Everyone's going to be home because everyone has work Friday. Like, you are going to get
Yeah.
Mhm.
eyes on your
Yeah.
game on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because if you do it on Friday, I won't be watching half the Friday games because I will be out doing other
A
shit.
lot of people are watching other things. Like this was a big conversation when, and I know you guys aren't wrestling people, but they moved one of the wrestling shows, SmackDown, to Friday nights, and people were like, why would you do that? Like, who's going to be staying in? Especially the demographic you're trying to hit with football. Who is going to be staying in to watch it? And if you go to a bar to watch it, that's fine. But that's not going to help the NFL with their views and their stuff because it's just going to be one TV. You know what I mean? But I will say I've like in real time changed my mind. I do like the Friday night football thing, but I just don't think I don't think it would work. What I do think they need to do, just an overall thing with this Thursday night football, they need to. I don't think it should be divisional games. I don't want divisional games on a short week or anything. Give me the teams that only play once every 4. Give me Patriots Cowboys. Like give me like Jets Vikings. I'm just picking teams that don't play that. Like give me those games.
Like Ravens Lions, something like that.
Ravens Lions would be an awesome. Chiefs Lions on Thursday night football. Are you kidding me?
Ravens Eagles. Like I'm just trying to think of other good teams. Steelers Eagles, which they had before. Teams. Yeah,
that's what it should be. Yeah, because I think when like everybody loves divisional games, but unless it's the Ravens and Steelers, it is very hit or miss. Almost every Ravens Steelers game is good, but like you can't, because I think teams should have a full week, maybe an extra if they're playing Monday night, of preparation if you're playing a divisional team. So yeah, I think the NFL's got to do it. Do you think they could do it where it's like I said, they have like their first starting 3 or 4 games, and then it's kind of like at the beginning of the season, there's a set group of games every Sunday that could be flexed to a Thursday game. I think that might be a little bit too many moving pieces, but they got to do something.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I don't know if it would fully work, but I don't know.
Yeah.
They got to do something. But yeah, Friday night football would be cool. I wouldn't hate it, but I don't think the NFL would love it.
I know. Plus, who are you competing with? High school? Like, no.
Yeah, but like also there's a deep tradition with high school football that you kind of have to keep intact. That's how people get to the NFL.
Yeah. There's so many more things to think about other than just like one kind of like ultimate result. So I don't know. It's not they got to do something. They got to have less like weird game. I don't know. They got to do something with the thing because the NFL product is definitely slipping, but it's the NFL, so it's still going to be the beast that it is. But like, dude, this year of football was not.
Oh, it's terrible.
Not great. And honestly, you can say that about a lot of sports. And I think it's like the era we're in with like kids coming into the leagues, whether it's the NBA, MLB, hockey, anything. Well, hockey might be the only one that's kind of sustained.
What's the Thursday game this week?
I don't even know if there's a Thursday game this week.
I don't think there is one because I think it's the second day of the year. I don't know if there's one. Let me look it up.
It's the end. I mean, it's the end of the regular season too. I think they start to like have the Saturday option because colleges.
It was Seahawks Bears was the most recent one.
Yep.
And then
is there one this week? Yeah, that was a brutal game.
But that's one of the teams that wouldn't play each other often. That's one of the ones you guys were asking for is Bears Seahawks. Yeah. They never fucking play each other. For sure. The game sucked. Sure. That was awful.
That could be one, but my thing, I don't even want that. I want interconference ones. I don't even want that. And honestly, if the Bears would have pulled their heads out of their asses, that might have been a good game.
That's asking
it's also
a lot
late in the year.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot. But
they got beaten by the Patriots 33.
I know. Like you get beat by the Patriots by 2 scores. That's not great.
It was like 5 scores.
19-3.
Patriots.
But yeah, I don't think that there's 30.
No, you were there that day. We watched the game together.
Felt like
physically, not mentally.
True.
Okay. So we put it off as much as we could. I am not gonna get into. I don't have any specific things I want to talk about as much as I normally do. Just kind of things we'll hit on. But Patriots Chargers played a game, I guess if you want to call it that, on Saturday Night Football. This was the game that Patriots fans were worried was going to happen last week against the Bills to me in prime time. Patriots got crushed 40-7. We'll go through the stats. I will tell you guys, they are very depressing for everybody involved. Drake May, 12 of 22 for 117 and a touchdown. No picks. Didn't
matter. They didn't get 2 field goals.
Jacoby Brissett, because it is on there, 1 of 2 for -2. Antonio Gibson, 12 for 63. A lot of that was garbage time. Drake May, 6 for 32. We're talking about rushing. And in the back of the pack, Ramondre Stevenson, 2 carries for 1 yard. You want to go receiving? Sure. Pop Douglas, 4 catches for 46 yards. Booty, 4 for 28. And Bourne, 2 for 22. No one else. Oh, and then the only other person that caught balls, Austin Hooper, 3 for 19. That's it. 4 Patriots players caught balls this game. This was a disaster of a game.
There you go.
From
Good.
in every aspect of it. I think a lot of things are set in motion right now when you're talking about the off season. Don't get me wrong, I did still scrounge up some positives to take from this game because there are still some, and I like to be the optimistic one of the group as much as I can. But I don't know where you guys want to start. I guess we'll start with Drake May because it might be the most positive thing you can start with. He did get knocked out of the game for a drive on a hit that didn't look hard. He went into the tent, went into the locker room, missed one drive where Brissett came in, and obviously he's a backup, so nothing really happened. But Drake May did play. Like I said, 12 of 22. Not a I don't even, the stats are what they are, but I don't even want to say this was a bad game from him. This was just this is what it looks like when you have a good young quarterback on a bad team that plays to their lowest expectations in my eyes. He had that beautiful chuck it up. You get the Aaron Rodgers play where you get the defender jumping offside, you chuck it up deep. Love that touchdown to Pop Douglas. That cut the score to 20-7, I think.
It was 17-7.
Great. Drake May ran a little bit, which was cool, but I don't know. You don't even have to start there, but where do you guys want to start with this fucking debacle of a game?
I mean, the one positive thing that I'll say to your point about Drake May, at least he went back in the game. Like, he could have very easily just been like, you know what? This game is not going to be a winnable game. Good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get ready for the Bills game next week to end the season. But he's a competitor, and that's what we love about the kid, right? He competes. He wants to be out with his teammates. He wants to show that he is the future of this franchise. So credit to him for coming back in a game that he really didn't need to come back in. It's not like there's any playoff implications here, but that just goes to show we have our guy for the future.
But how fucking stupid was it that he took that hit?
I know.
Already
just
out of bounds.
Run out of
just
bounds.
Get out
slide,
of bounds. Get the
whatever.
fuck out of bounds. Like, Joe Burrow broke his leg in his rookie season. You can come back from that. Tua has gotten multiple head injuries. He's coming back from that, but people are telling him to retire. The one thing we don't want Drake May to get is a shoulder injury, so he ends up like Chad Pennington, or head injuries, so he ends up like Junior Seau. What the fuck are you doing? Get out of bounds.
Yeah,
but notice what he did as the game went on. He just made sure
he
slid.
Did you hear the crowd cheer for him when he slid?
Oh, that was funny. That was funny.
He came back and the ball's on him, which I think these are the reasons we love Drake May, where he comes back in. I think it was the first play that he came back. He ran for, it was 12, 15 yards, slid. It was the cutest, prettiest little slide. He had all the room in the world. A normal Drake May would have kept going, maybe put his head down. No, he slid.
Great pop-up slide. He just
beautiful.
Right
the crowd cheers. Like, this is what you want. But these are the rookie mistakes, which I feel like I bring it up every week. This is why I wanted him to play more this year. Get this out of the way. Learn, hey, buddy, these players hit a little harder. And they hit not a little bit more cheaply or whatever, but they'll take they'll take runs at you if they can, these defenders. So I thought that was a bad decision by him. Like you said, you're out of bounds. Whether people think a flag should have been called or not, he did step out, then he got hit. It's a little bang bang. There was helmet to helmet contact. It looked like the shoulder was kind of hitting towards the head area. I don't know. This is the issue with the NFL. We've seen that get called before, and we've seen it not get called. So I don't know. But there was actually a roughing call on him when he did slide, and defender, I forget his name, number 25, did dive well after he started his slide. So that was the right call. But that was a dumb rookie move by Drake May going out there. Could have got his second concussion in one season, which not even before. before you jumped on, Liam and I started to talk about this, and we paused because we wanted to talk about it on the podcast. You remember back when Drake May actually got his concussion and he said,
Yes.
he didn't really agree with it. Mayo's comments were kind of a little like weird about it, where it's like, he's in protocol. Like, I don't know,
Huh.
whatever.
Mayo making a weird comment
And
interesting.
don't even, oh, dude, we'll get to that because I think that people are still being ridiculously hard on Mayo for his like whatever, but we'll get to it. And then they even asked Drake May, and Drake May was like, it's almost like the test is set up for you to fail because you're on uneven ground, you're in cleats, you got to do this stuff. And then you could see when he went into the tent yesterday, when he left the tent, he was shaking his head. So he was obviously annoyed with the thing. Do you think, like, what do you think this test is in there? Do you think it's kind of set up for the players to fail? Because it doesn't seem like Drake May thought he had a concussion, and he doesn't seem like he thought he had one last time either. So, like, is this just the NFL being like extra safe, which I'm fine with, which I think they should be, but like, it does seem like there's like, what happens in this blue tent? You know what I mean?
Here, let's read it. Let's look at NFL.com and read it.
Yeah.
So, concussion game day checklist, and this is according again to NFL.com. When a player receives an impact to the head, the player goes to concussion protocol if the player exhibits or reports symptoms or signs suggestive of a concussion or stinger, or the team athletic trainer, uh, whatever, initiates the protocol. Then the player must immediately be removed to the sideline or stabilized on the field to undergo the concussion assessment, which I'm going to click right now and see.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Sideline survey. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just
Yeah, the
trying to.
sideline survey is the big part because I agree with everything you've said so far. Where like they
Yeah.
have their independent person watching, they bring him, they phone down whatever, say, hey, get him off the field. I get that. That's cool. But yeah, I want to know what they're like, if
Okay.
it's judgment stuff or if it's just
Yeah,
strict
it's
things. Like, I don't know.
so if a player receives impact to the head and player exhibits or reports symptoms or signs suggestive of a concussion or stinger, or it looks like it says ATC, booth ATC, team physician, blah, 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 initiates protocol, like we just
Mhm.
said. Players immediately removed to a sideline or stabilized on field as needed. Sideline survey. Remove the helmet. Team physician and UNC perform sideline survey. No go, history of event, concussion signs and symptoms, video review. I'm just trying to see if there's really anything else. So basically, it looks like there's a list of things that has to be done
Mhm.
in order for the player to come back.
Yeah.
And I know I just read off a bunch of stuff here. I'm just trying to see if there's really anything else. Here we go. Return to protocol. Symptom limited activity, aerobic exercise, football specific exercise, club based non contact drills. Full. Basically, it looks like they have to do a bunch of things in order to get back onto the field. Like, do they feel nauseous? Do they feel like spinning in the head? Can they stretch? Can they balance? So they probably do like balancing activities or
The
something.
balance thing seems to be the
The big
the
one.
the like sticking point. Yeah. So okay, because that makes
You,
sense technically. Yeah.
you guys remember those like Live Strong bracelets where they'd have you put your arms out and try
Oh
to
Oh
my
reach
yeah.
down your arm? I wonder if they're
gosh.
doing that to him.
I know,
Dude,
right?
or
Yeah.
the
He's just
ones
sitting
where
there like,
like
come
you
on.
reach back and then all of a sudden it looks like you can reach back a little bit more with those
Yep.
bracelets. Like those are the
Yep.
Yeah.
biggest scams
I
ever.
like that. I don't know. I had them. I had a bunch.
No, I did too. They
Yeah,
were
we
they were
all did.
awesome, but like
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
um
so that's what it is. I think it's the balance part that seems to be like because Drake May isn't the first player to kind of like comment on those tests. So whatever.
right.
It was just something I was thinking. Like, so I know people like, oh, he's had one concussion, he might have had another one. I'm not even sure he had the one concussion because he came back very quick too, because he didn't miss a game,
Right.
with the
Yeah.
concussion. So I don't
Right.
know. Either way, though, Drake May's got to get down. He showed that he did start to get down, but I do also don't want his fear of concussion or whatever to stop him from playing how he plays. Like if he's running for a first down, it's 3rd and 8. To an extent, if the game's important, if the season isn't lost, whatever, context matters. But I want him to try to get it. You know what I mean? Kind of do like the Joe Burrow. We all watched the Cincinnati game last night or yesterday, I'm assuming, where like Joe Burrow was running and he did kind of dive forward a little bit. He didn't do the slide all the time. So I don't know. But yeah, Drake May, another whatever game, no pick, which is good. His receivers didn't hand the ball off to the defenders, which was swell, I guess.
Well,
With another thing people were talking about, Ramondre Stevenson. before the game, or last game, Stevenson fumbled, as we all know. He's leading the league in fumbles by running backs this year in the NFL with 7. Gerard Mayo said right before the game that Gibby was going to be starting for them, Antonio Gibson. To start the game, guess who started? Ramondre Stevenson. Now, I know that that's one of those things where it's like, why did Mayo say that? Like, if that was the plan, he might have changed his mind. Like, we don't know. Antonio Gibson also said, they asked him after the game where he was like, I'm paraphrasing, but basically he said that he was never told he was going to start or anything like that at all. But he wasn't saying it in a bad way. He was just like, I don't care about that. Like, we just did what we did, whatever. Now, it could very well be that Mayo was just bullshitting, lying, which is fine. I don't care if the head coach lies to the media. I do not give a shit at all. It's other weird things he says, which I get criticism. But I do think that we are making a huge deal out of this because Stevenson had 2 carries last game or yesterday. So like, message was sent in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, even though you started, that's just like when people say like, oh, this receiver started, but it's like, okay, but he played 5 snaps afterwards. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't like whatever. What's your guys' take on all of that from Mayo's comments to Stevenson, which looks like he got punished for his fumbles?
Why wouldn't you
I
punish him last game? Like,
mm,
I understand. Granted, they benched him for a drive or
For
two
a
because
drive, I think.
Antonio,
Yeah.
yeah, because Antonio Gibson got the ball a ton in the last game, and he had
Mhm.
some pretty damn good plays because of it. But
Mhm.
why are we carrying over punishments here? And why is it so severe? Granted, the run game was basically useless after the second quarter when we're down so much. We're probably not going to run the ball anyway. And Gibson's a better third down back, even though I think Ramondre is fantastic at catching the ball as well. But
Mhm.
like, I don't understand why we're carrying punishments over. You punished him last week. He's clearly our best running back. I love Antonio Gibson, but Ramondre is our best running back. God fucking damn it, dude.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know. Al, I'm sure you got comments on Mayo's comments too.
oh yeah, of course I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is just one of the examples of why people are frustrated with Gerard Mayo. Because I agree with the point, Mike, that you made that the punishment was served, right? But I mean, again, it's backtracking, right? It's repeated offenses, right? All you have to say is this is all he had to say. We're not sure yet. We're going to make a decision at game time. That leaves it open ended. Then it's like, okay, maybe you start Stevenson, maybe you don't. You make that decision. Don't say another guy is starting and then the other guy ends up starting, which that can happen all the time. But it's because of the repeated offenses of opening his mouth, saying things that he shouldn't be saying, and then having to backtrack. That's the whole thing. And even Mike Reese, who I think the 3 of us can agree, we all like Mike Reese and think he's a fair, non-biased Patriots reporter who asks good questions. He asked the question to Mayo, what happened with that? And he said, Mike, I appreciate the question. It was a coach's decision. You don't have to answer that question if you just do what you say you're going to do. That's all. He could have done the rest of what he did. All he had to do that first drive, just play Antonio Gibson. Then the next drive, you put Stevenson in. Okay. He's a man of his word. Message received. But then it's like, again, it's the clear miscommunication. It's just, it's symbolic of everything that's happened this year. Miscommunication, dysfunction, everything. So that's why I'm like, it just shut your mouth. Like you were doing so well the past couple of weeks. Just shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Just don't say it. Or even if you're talking to 98.5 and then you're like, okay, my bad. I'm rushing my thinking here. I said Gibby. I meant to say Ramondre's going to start. Then it's like, all right, whatever. Like that happens in real time. But again, just think before. It's the expression that our parents taught us. Think before you speak. That's it. Think about what the ramifications can be. So I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here, but it's like it gets
No, it
frustrating when
makes
it's the same
sense.
thing over and over and over again. That's
Yeah.
that's the whole thing.
It makes sense. How do you feel about Stevenson getting punished though? But which clearly that's what this was, even though he started
Well, it
two
sucks for
carries.
me. It sucked for me fantasy wise because I'm playing this jabroni, and of course he gets 0 points for me. So I'm just gonna say
Get
congratulations,
fucked.
Congratulations, Liam. You're gonna beat me
Thank you.
finally.
I'm gonna
It
get
took
my money back, baby.
Yeah, it took you two. It's gonna take you a 2 week matchup and 3 matchups to get there, but you got there.
I'll take
But
it though.
yeah, there you go.
Wins a win.
Stevenson. I mean, listen, his production value's gone down. He has the most fumbles in the NFL. What does he expect? Like, does he really
Yeah,
expect that he's going to get, 30 carries a game when he can't hold on to the football? Like, no. You
Mhm.
go with Antonio Gibson, who's actually been,
Very
excuse
good
me,
signing.
yeah, one of your bright sides this year, one
Mhm.
of your better free agency signings.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been good. And I think so I think we all agree on the Stevenson. He should have been punished. Liam, I get where you're saying, why not do it last week? Why do it now?
Yeah,
Like
which he
kind
did
of
do it last week.
yeah, exactly. And it's like this was kind of like driving the point home more, I guess. Whatever. It is what it is. I think the big thing to take from this is that Gerard Mayo, whether he stays, whether he goes and he coaches somewhere else, whatever it is, he just needs media training, which like I'm not going to shout that the guy should be fired because of his comments and stuff like that. There's other reasons why I'll listen to a conversation about him being fired. But this media stuff, this is just like, dude, now we're understanding, and I hope the NFL world is understanding why Belichick is and was the way he was. Because
Yeah.
he didn't want to
Well,
deal
he's
with
the
this.
GOAT.
It is so much easier to deal with this guy doesn't say anything. Oh my God, what the hell? As opposed to why'd you say this? Why'd you say this? Because that is what the media and fan base does to a struggling football team. When you're frustrated with the on-field stuff, you start nitpicking and digging into everything, which rightly so, wrongly so, depends on, each instance, but it happens. This is why, like you said, Al, he's been doing well the last couple weeks, not saying much, just kind of whatever. We're going to do this, we're on to this, all this stuff. But then he, just like the team, old mistakes start to rear their ugly head again. And that's what happened here with him. But yeah, where do you guys want to jump off next about this game?
Um,
The blocking was terrible. For the love of Christ, the blocking is
Cole
so
Strange was
bad.
good. Cole Strange
Cole
was good.
Strange was good.
That's it
Maybe
yeah,
that's our
though.
future center.
give
But
him
like,
credit. Give him credit for never
goddamn,
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
he's
center
heatable.
before. Give him his
yeah,
credit.
he was good. I didn't see a single bumbled snap. It looked like all the snaps were pretty on point. Like
Mhm.
that's a Belichick pick.
There
He'll
was
go in
only
there and play any
one where it
position.
looked like it looked like his cadence was off, which resulted in a Drake May sack. But that wasn't that was just cadence. Someone, either the team or him, didn't know the snap count, whatever. But other than
Yeah.
that, like you said, yeah, all the snaps were perfect. Right
Yeah,
too.
100%, which is more than we can say about like our last two centers. So like, fucking we'll take it. But like that Drake May slide we were talking about where he slides, gets the penalty from Junior Colston.
That's who it was. Yeah.
We get some yards from that. I think it was literally the next play. We run that weird end around that ends up being a fumble. And the safety, Derwin James, who was just torching us all game.
He's
He
so
got a
good. He's
sack. He's a
so good.
monster. He
Yeah.
gets a sack later in the game. He just blows the play up, gets right in there. And I'm like, I know that's not how that was drawn up. Like somebody blatantly missed their block.
Mhm.
It was atrocious. And I was telling Mike before you were on, Al, before we started recording, I turned the game off when Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa just sandwiched Drake May in the backfield. Like both tackles just completely gave up and they fucking crushed him. And I was like, okay, awesome. Like I've had enough of this. On our free play, that was the Demario Douglas touchdown.
Mhm.
Drake May got bundled, throwing off his back foot.
Yep.
Not a great ball, but god damn it, it got there and it was a touchdown. And that's the best he could fucking do. He gets bundled by the defender who didn't jump off sides. The guy who does not have the tactical advantage in that situation. Joey Bosa comes in, beats the right tackle, and then Gibson goes to like lower the shoulder into Bosa. Swin moves him, Gibson hits the tackle, and then Bosa just fucking bundles Drake May. And I'm like, oh my God, what complete ineptitude on the offensive line. The guy who jumps off sides gets blocked, and they stop, they let somebody else go. I'm like, how can that possibly happen? That guy was over the line of scrimmage and didn't get there, but somebody else did. I am so furious.
Yeah. Yeah. This game, it kind of like the Bills game. I said it. If this game should tell you that the number one priority this offseason is the offensive line before you
Yeah.
even think about signing Higgins or trading for Metcalf or drafting
Yeah.
Hunter or Tet or Abdul Carter or whatever. You need to get, at the very least, a starting left tackle. Then I'll say, okay, maybe think about other things, but also still think about right tackle
Yes.
and maybe left guard. And I think
Yeah.
right guard should be fine because you have a one, or you can put him to right tackle and have someone else. So like either way, but the tackles, please, Just
Just
please shore that
atrocious,
up,
dude.
because
Oh
there were
my
so many
God.
there was one play where it looked like um Drake May had Kendrick Bourne open kind of on like a deep dig route or something, and he underthrew him because he was getting pressure. If he had an extra second to throw, that's a huge gain. But it's just like we're seeing all these plays where they're getting blown up because the offensive line cannot block. And they, granted, to their credit, they have strung together a few better games than the first half of the year. It's a low bar, but
Yeah.
for their talent and all that stuff, they've been doing well. Vidarian Lowe, thanks for coming. I don't want you on the team next year. You've had a
He better,
couple good games.
they better get rid of him as soon as they can.
Dude, he needs to go. And the thing is,
He
it's
should
like
have been gone by now.
he's fine as a break glass in case of emergency backup.
He's not. That's
A
a
backup
terrible emergency.
if you need it.
That's like pulling a fire alarm and the fire alarm not working. You're like,
One
okay,
sprinkler
well,
works.
that was fucking
One
pointless.
sprinkler.
But it's
Yeah.
also I was gonna say, like, you throw a cup of water into a big fire, like it might have
Yeah.
gotten like one little speck, but that's it.
Yeah.
All right. A swing tackle, maybe, if you need just a big body. A
No,
fullback.
we don't want him
No,
He
near
needs to go.
Gillette
He
Stadium.
needs to go.
No.
Goodbye. See you
No.
later.
Something.
No,
Would
he
you
tells
rather
people
keep
where to park in the parking lot. That's what
Would-
Vidarian Lowe does.
Would you rather keep him or Ben Brown?
Ben Brown.
Ben Brown, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we are all still Ben Brown people, even though he was out with a
Yeah.
concussion.
Yeah, that's
I'd
fine.
be cool with him
Sure.
being here. 'Cause I think
If he's a backup, that's fine. He's serviceable.
Yeah,
But he's
'cause I think-
contaminated. Anyone who's a part of this disgusting, vile
Kind
offensive
of
line,
true,
anyone who has touched this offensive line, they have a disease, and we cannot go near these people.
Yeah,
They-
you need to do something.
They are terminal, and we have to stay away from all of them.
They have. I will say, I'm hoping that the next year's offensive line looks something like this: new left tackle, whoever you want that to be,
Yep.
whatever. Sign someone, draft someone, whatever. Cole Strange at left guard,
Yep.
or Layden Robinson. I'm open to them because he's played well. He has
Depth.
played well the last
He
few
has
games.
them.
Yes, he
He's
has.
contaminated.
Then you have depth. If you want to switch, whatever. David Andrews, probably his
Yep.
last year at center.
Yep.
Ben Brown as a backup. That's cool. Right guard, you have Mike Onwenu, and then a new
Yep.
right tackle.
That's perfect. That's
Right?
exactly what I had. Yep. You
And
get
guess what, guys? That's
get
so
improvement on the tackles.
doable.
Yeah.
That is so doable.
Call me crazy. Like, we live in a very overreactive world where people, the pendulum swings super hard one way to correct the other.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't exactly sound like to me in the merciless here, but I do in a sense. Like, with this offensive line, let's handle dandruff with decapitation. Get rid of all of them. Like, there's a
I
problem.
don't hate that. I understand.
Yeah, there's a problem. It's not the biggest problem in the world because some of them might be okay. Fuck it. Get rid of all of them. All of them. Gone. Absolutely gone. I don't want any of them still around except for David Andrews, who was
Yeah.
lucky enough to miss this year. Sweet, blessed David Andrews. Unfortunately, has to watch all this shit on the sidelines, but it's better than being in this toxic waste dump of a game in these offensive line play.
I
So
think the only
all of
people
them
you
gone
keep,
except for David Andrews.
the
All
only
of them.
people you keep, I think you keep your interior. You're going to keep
No,
Cole
fuck 'em.
Strange.
They're terrible.
No, Cole Strange, I'll give him a pass because he came in late, so he's not as
Okay,
contaminated.
Fine.
Cole
fine.
Strange, David
Maybe.
Andrews, obviously, and I still think I know you hate him, but I think you keep Michael Wenu as your right guard.
You have to.
Toxic.
That's
He's
what I
toxic.
think.
He's terminal.
I understand what you're
He
saying.
has leprosy. We have to get rid of him.
understand.
His skin is falling off his face. His limbs are loosening and dropping to the
Oh,
floor.
I
We get
maybe he
rid
can-
of him.
Maybe
I
he can
can't
throw
wait
that
to
skin
get into
in
the
defender's
He's
second
eye.
round.
gone.
into.
He's
I can't
gone.
wait.
He
I
is
can't wait.
gone.
No,
He is
soon,
so gone. He is he's as gone as Andy Dufresne at the end of Shawshank. He is somewhere off in Mexico.
Oh,
on a
never seen
beautiful
Shawshank.
beach. Wow, you uncultured
right?
swine. Oh
I know.
God, that's tough.
I have
you gotta
so
get
many
into a little
movies.
Rita Hayworth.
I have I think I said this like months ago too. You could pick like a handful of like either classic movies or movies that a lot of people have seen. I probably haven't seen. Odds are.
I don't mean to overstate, I'll say this about a lot of movies, but this one actually rings true. This is the greatest movie of all time.
I know the thing is I know I'm gonna like
is.
it, and I know
Yeah.
that it's gonna be good. It's just I just haven't seen it. Like I saw
You're right.
Good Will
You're super
Hunting for the
busy
first
watching.
time.
Yeah.
What?
I
No,
was like,
like
you're
5
probably
years ago.
super busy. It takes up a lot of your time watching all those stupid ass comic book movies. So I understand. But once you finish watching
they got shows
Infinity,
too.
yeah,
They got shows.
once you finish watching Infinity War for the 800th time, you should get around to a movie that actually has culture.
Infinity War is what a crazy one to pick. That was a tremendous movie.
It was
come on.
fine.
Come
was
on.
fine.
All right. You want to know
Superhero
something?
movie.
You said you got to treat Dandruff with decapitation, or as we say on the show, scalping.
Scalping. We scalp.
I think there are a couple players on this team
Why
that
didn't
need
I
to
use
go.
that?
Let me ask you something. Jalen Polk, where do you guys stand on him right now?
Dude, and Javon Baker. Let's throw them all in there.
I'll
I make
give
people in
Baker some
wheelchairs stand
grace.
up. No, I don't. He hasn't played for a reason. He can't
I'm fine
make
with
people
that.
in wheelchairs stand up. He can't make Usain Bolt stand up. He
He
can't
can't
make
stand up.
any of the range. No one stands up when Javon Baker is, he's not on the fucking field. But
Yeah.
Okay.
So I take it you're out on both of them.
yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Al.
I'm out on Baker. Polk. I'm indifferent about Polk. If they brought him back as a fifth or sixth receiver, then okay, give him a second year. But I'm gonna tell you something. You did the same thing with Tyquan Thornton. You had him fully for 2022, fully for 2023. You got rid of him halfway through 2024.
Felt like we had him for 5 years.
You
Dude, we
need
had him
to
for so long.
you give him half a year. I'm telling you, I'm very, consistent about giving people half of another
Mhm.
year to prove themselves. That's 9 to 10 NFL games. After your rookie season, it's like, okay, you know what you need to work on? You need to work on separation. You need to work on your routes. You need to
Everything.
work
Just say
on
everything.
everything.
Everything. Literally
Everything.
Say
everything. Yeah.
everything.
Right?
All the
Everything.
fundamental pieces to being a receiver, you need to
All
work
of it,
on
including the
those.
fun
Yeah.
part. Just all of
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Mental.
go out and do it because if not, we will release you. The Patriots don't have time anymore to bring on like talentless NFL players. They just can't do
Yeah.
it anymore if they want
Mhm.
to actually go back to contending and being a respectable franchise. So if Jalen Polk doesn't look the part, even in training camp, I'm going to be brutal here. If he looks bad in training camp,
Oh,
see you
cut him.
later.
Yeah.
Because next year, your receiving room should look something like this. And in no particular order. Pop Douglas, Kendrick Bourne, Kayshon Boutte. I'm going to say Travis Hunter because I think for this team,
Mhm.
Travis Hunter would benefit as being a receiver.
Mhm.
T. Higgins, and then either like an Amari Cooper or another receiver. I'm just saying, look at that receiving room. That's
That's
a
Super Bowl.
lot better. That's a
That's a
lot
Super Bowl
better.
team.
That's a lot better. You have good veterans in the locker room.
Mhm.
And you have Kayshon Boutte, who's emerged. And I'll admit, I was wrong about Kayshon Boutte. He showed me something this year. I'm happy to be wrong about that. That's more times I've admitted I'm wrong than Liam has in his whole life. Pop Douglas is
I'm
very,
never
very
wrong.
good.
Oh yeah, Pop Douglas. I don't want to hear anything bad about Pop
No,
Douglas.
Pop
His
Douglas is fine. And
production,
Kendrick
anything. No.
and Kendrick Bourne is going to be fine with a fully year healthy.
Keep it. Yeah.
That's if you have that receiving room next year, that's much improved. And that's like, okay, you got Drake May some weapons now,
Mhm.
which is great.
I think you keep Kendrick Bourne just because of the guy, the
The
because you
locker room
do still
presence. That's
need the
exactly what it
culture
is.
guys.
Right.
Like speaking of like the UC, I got Bruins stuff hanging up. The Bruins, they had Sean Thornton, who was never really that great, but he
No.
was a glue guy. He was a fighter. He was a goon. He'd fight. These are the guys that championship teams have. The guys who
Right.
are still like serviceable to play, but they also just kind of like keep the vibes up, keep the room together. That's why when you brought up Amari Cooper, I liked that too. Because Amari Cooper is a veteran. He's a professional guy too. Like get him in.
I
T.
love Amari
Higgins,
Cooper.
Travis Hunter, whatever. Dude, I would love him coming out like a 2-year deal. Why not? Right? There's no risk to that to me. But either way, like they're gonna do stuff on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that, like you said, if Polk and Baker don't show in the preseason, the 3 games that they get, if they don't show that they can be a starter, cut them, put them on the practice squad. I'm
Yeah.
done. Cut bait with it, cool, whatever. You miss on draft picks. It happens all the time. That's why people roasting Elliott Wolf for missing on Lad McConkey and picking Jalen Polk, all that stuff. I'm neither here nor there on it because you
Yeah.
miss on drafts. It is what it is. You can't lock into a draft pick unless it's like a first round pick. Then I guess like maybe you got to give them a little extra time. But yeah, done with
It's
that.
not
Get them out.
to that point, it's not entirely about Elliott Wolf, unfortunately. It's about the draft picks since 2000, really 2018, that you haven't hit on. Like
Yeah.
in 2018, I know you had Sony Michel. He scored,
Mhm.
the only touchdown, Super Bowl 53. I know, I get that. But he had one good season.
What a run he went on.
I know. It was a good
Yeah,
season. Like Isaiah Wynn was, but
Sucks.
again,
good for a couple of years, but nothing.
but
Not
look at the
even.
drafts after.
Mhm.
Okay? Look at the drafts after. N'Keal Harry, the big one. Obviously, huge swing and miss.
Yeah.
2021, Mac Jones, huge swing and miss.
Well,
Ramondre Stevenson, I'm not saying he's bad because he's not bad, but he has his problems. The 2022 draft, not doesn't I'd say horrid. The 2022 draft is horrid. 2020, like it was pretty bad. You go through the list, that's pretty damn bad.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it was bad shit.
2023, you got Christian Gonzalez. That was a good pick, obviously. And then Drake May last year, obviously, good pick.
Belichick's last pick.
But but like that's the whole thing. It's not necessarily Elliott Wolf. It's the fact that it's been now 5 to 6 years
Mhm.
of really bad draft picks, and now look at the position that they are in.
Yeah, yeah,
They
that's why
they
I would give him Elliot Wolf a little more grace than Gerard Mayo
he
because I
his
think it
seat is
takes more.
his seat is lukewarm.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
starting. It's going to start to get hot if he
He pressed the
doesn't.
heater on it, like he's just getting in the car. He pressed the little heat button and it's starting to warm up. Gerard Mayo's seat might catch on fire soon. So I
Yeah,
think that's the difference in
his is like in my car. I have three settings for
Yep.
like heated seats. Elliot
Fancy
Wolf is
ass.
probably on like the second one where it's like, okay, it's starting to get a little bit,
Maybe the second. Yeah, it might be too hot. We might put it back to the first one. That's
but
why I
but
think like
Gerard
something
Mayo
like
is
that.
starting to get up to that third one. Let me tell you
His
something.
has been on and the car's been warming up for a while. So his
I
is like,
know.
listen, we either got to shut this off or we got to blow up the car.
I know.
Speaking of Gerard Mayo, I guess there were chants of fire Mayo. People were
Mhm.
chanting for Vrabel, I guess.
Oh
Now
God, I would love that.
some of the Patriots players, and we'll talk about that. And then we are going to get into Al, the segment you're talking about with the 10
Yeah.
players, right? That's what you're talking about. We'll
Yeah,
kind
and
of
I
do that
had
at the
something.
end.
Yeah, I also had something, and I put this in the group chat. Something about the 2021 season that will relate to the
Yes. Yep.
offseason too, and I want to get into
Okay.
that before we end the episode.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
I want to bring up just briefly, like, what do we think? Loaded question. What do we think of the defense?
Terrible.
Terrible.
So angry, man.
Yeah.
I don't like again, I'm done with Kyle. If you can trade Kyle Duggar for something, that's why I understand that like he has the talent. I mentioned this last week and like I'm not calling out his
Oh my
character or
gosh.
anything. What happened?
Jalen Polk on Instagram, the
What do you do?
most hated.
Yeah, for a reason.
A picture of himself and then put the caption, the most hated.
It
Okay,
definitely wasn't a
yeah.
picture of him catching
Oh
Yeah, no,
passes.
I'm
my
good. Yeah, I'm good with
gosh.
him.
Get him,
He can
get
go.
him out of here,
So,
please.
so Al, what you said when you were like,
Yeah.
you're out on Baker, but you're kind of lukewarm on Polk or whatever. I'm
See
the
ya.
opposite.
With
I
that.
want Polk gone. I would give
Yeah.
Baker more because Baker hasn't gotten a shot.
Yeah.
Maybe he just
I'm
needs to
indifferent
learn.
That's
on
fair.
Right.
Baker.
Yeah.
I can live with
Get
that.
Jalen Polk the fuck out of here. You were only good because you were playing
Get
behind
the
Rome
fuck
Odunze.
out.
And again, the meme where you get the fuck out of here. The Jeremy Piven meme.
Yeah.
But shit, what was I saying? Oh, about
Gerard
the
Mayo,
defense.
the firing and the firing
Yeah,
too.
yeah. But just to answer Liam's question, yeah, I'm cool if you want to trade Duggar. Like
Yeah.
I think, and yeah, okay, this is what I was saying. I'm not calling his character into question, but he's really playing like one of those players who got the bag and then just stopped really trying. I know that he got hurt, but we can't use the Jalen Mills excuse on him.
No.
Where like he's always nursing this injury. Like
Yeah.
the injury isn't stopping you from just not doing your job. You are a veteran. This isn't a rookie thing where it's like maybe it's someone coaching that you're not in the right spot. You're Kyle Duggar. You got coached by the greatest defensive mind the sport has ever seen. You should know that you need to cover a guy who's getting released to you running across your face.
Yeah.
Maybe you should cover Lad McConkey when he does that. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not even talking about the one in the end zone. I'm talking about the other one because there was another one.
Which one in the end zone? There were three of them.
Yeah, exactly. So like Kyle Duggar, I'm done. There's a few people on defense that I'll keep because we are also going to say the 10 Patriots players that we would need to have on next
To keep
year's
for
team.
next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duggar isn't on it. Spoiler alert. Duggar's not
Okay.
on my list. Get him the fuck out of here. But other than that, like I know there's a lot of players playing out of position and all that. Like Johnny
Yeah.
Tavai is the number one guy. When he's playing his position, he's really good. But
Yeah.
he can't do what he's doing. Anthony Jennings is a really good player, but he can't take Bentley's role. Like Christian Ellis is a great kind of mix and match linebacker. He can't cover people. Marte Mapu, though, I'm back in on him.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Back
a
in like I never
surprising
left.
one.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
cool with him.
No shit. Okay.
I think he's been kind of like obviously nicked up a little bit, some healthy
Yeah.
scratches, but I think that these last couple games have really helped him. I think a full off season, hopefully he doesn't get injured. I think he's a piece. That's why I think you can send Duggar the fuck out and have
Yeah.
Mapu take his spot. But yeah, I'm F on the defense. If you want to get rid of Covington, go ahead. It might not be fair because injuries or whatever, but dude, something has to give on this defense.
Yeah.
They're worse than the offense to me.
I actually didn't think yesterday was like a terrible F minus performance by the defense. Like, to be realistic, like, we held them to 6 field goals or something like that, which is like pretty good for I looked at the time of possession here. So the Chargers dominated the time of possession, holding the ball for 40 minutes and 34 seconds, while the Patriots only had it for 19 minutes and 26 seconds. So the defense was on the field the entire fucking game. And honestly, like, if you watch the first quarter, like, pretty good. Like, Justin Herbert's sailing passes, there's a lot of incompletes. The defense is holding down a damn good receiving core with a greater quarterback. But when you're on the field for 40 minutes and 34 seconds, it's a lot like going bankrupt is the way the Chargers scored points. Very slowly and then all at once. Like, it just all kind of gave toward the end when the defense is like, dude, by that point, they'd probably been on the field for 25 minutes. They're like, dude, what more can we do? And granted, it wasn't great. Whoever's, most of the time it was Jonathan Jones, but whoever was covering Lad McConkey should be shot off into the sun. I don't know why. Christian Gonzalez wasn't put on him after the first touchdown and just, you have man the entire game. Whatever the play call is doesn't apply to you. Just follow this fucking guy. We're getting torched by the guy that we traded away for Jalen Polk. Fucking go make him pay. But no. So I don't think it was a terrible defensive game. In the grand scheme of things, I actually think they did pretty okay.
Uh,
What? Like, dude, when you're on the field for so long, like, what are you supposed to do? The Patriots offense wasn't doing anything.
How many points did the Chargers score yesterday again? Just remind me.
40.
Same amount of time that they had the ball, 40.
40. Okay, that's all I need. Thank
I
you.
understand. But
That's all I
yes,
need.
certainly. But like, let's be realistic here. Like, you need your offense to do something. And we had fumbles, sacks, our
True.
quarterback went down, the backup came in, 3 and out. Like, it was just a barrage
that was a
of
killer.
no offense.
Yep.
Our only touchdown came on getting the defense to jump and heaving the fucking ball up. Like,
Yep.
the offense was atrocious, so the defense played the entire time. And the Legion of Boom, the no-fly zone, the 2000 Ravens, if you made them stay on the field the entire fucking time, they're not going to play very well. Those Ravens won the Super Bowl because they had Jamal Lewis to run the ball and take up time of possession and rest up the defense. Like, let's be realistic here. I'm not expecting marvels. The defense fucking blows. It's fucking blowed all year. Don't get it twisted. But in the grand scheme of things, this is about as good as I expected this defense to do with the cards that they were dealt.
I get it. The pass rush was anemic, especially when
Yeah,
one of those
no one's
players,
getting there.
which we're about to get to, especially when one of those players talks like he's an 8-year vet who's got 15 sacks every year, but yet he can't really do fucking shit. Which I'm out on this guy too. Spoiler alert. But yeah, Al, response to Liam's thing before I talk about the team, the players quotes, and then we get into some other stuff.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with what I said. Like, you give up 40 points. I don't care about all the intangibles. I don't care about all the little things at this point. This defense is bad. It's bad. Like, giving up 40 points, whatever the circumstances is, to me, unacceptable.
But there's nuance.
There's no nuance. To me.
Sure. But I think that you just got to kind of look at it as a whole. I'm just angry. That's why I am saying what I am.
If
about
you have
the
a
defense,
dyslexic
but
kid in your class that can't do math, are you cussing him out? Like, fucking do the damn math problem.
I don't know.
You
Maybe
hitting the kid with rulers.
he shouldn't be in the class, just like maybe DeMarcus Covington shouldn't
Yeah,
be in the class.
Yeah.
he would be moved
That's what it
to a
comes down
smaller
to.
classroom setting.
That's
Wow. So you send them off.
Al
You
went
send
teacher
them
on you
off.
real quick.
No,
And he's
no,
like,
it's
actually,
true.
Send them
If
off.
there
You
is
just cast them off. You
Liam,
know,
I'm gonna
put
teach
him on
you.
those big metal trains and
Liam, I'm
send
gonna
him
teach you
down
a
come here,
the
lesson.
Timmy, come
I'm
here.
gonna teach you a lesson real
Yep.
quick. If
Come
there
out.
is a
There's a woodshed
child,
out back.
if
We have a
there's a
nail
child,
gun. Bang.
if there's a child with a learning disability, they get
No child
put
left behind.
sometimes into smaller classroom
Right.
settings to benefit the
Thank
learning.
you, George Bush. No child left behind.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Speaking of someone who is, did you guys have anything else you want to say before I get to the players' quotes
No,
after the game and
let's
one
get into
before?
that. The
Cool.
game is the game. Let's get into
Horrible
the
game.
juicy
Yeah,
stuff.
horrible game. Everybody on the coaching staff is coaching for their job next week, as far as I'm concerned. But so Keon White, before the game a couple days ago, they asked him basically about, how everything's going. This is your second year, blah, 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 whatever. Keon White said, and these are his quotes. He said, I'm going to try to get through these next two games and then figure it out after that and see where the cards may lie for my future. When he was pressed on the cards may lie, what do you mean by that? He said, just in general, in terms of everything. I mean, anything is possible. It's the NFL. Anything can happen year to year. It's a production-based business. It is what it is. You just got to figure it out. Something's got to change. That's the way I feel. They asked him about what was going on, what can change, whatever. So he said, I feel like I'm not playing good rush defense. It's a multitude of reasons why. It's an internal thing we need to figure out. I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's a lot of things. First and foremost, it's me. I need to improve and being on the same page with what the coaches want. Then to end it, he said, but I think it's a lot of other things as well without going too much into details. That's how I feel. So after the game, a couple players said a lot of things. Keon White, for instance, they asked him kind of about what, like, clarify that if you want to. He said basically that, I said what I said, and they asked him about these changes that he was talking about. He said, I mean, I hope so. If changes aren't made, then what are we doing? Again, NFL is a production-based business. So if we're not doing anything to change our production, which is loss, what are we doing? They said, what changes are you hoping for? Again, it's not for me to decide. First and foremost, I'm changing me, changing how I play the game. There are other quotes in here that I can't find right now, but basically they asked him about the coaching, things like that. He's like, things need to change above my pay grade, all that stuff. Let me just say, Keon White, maybe you did say that you should, change how you play and all that stuff. But this reminds me of why people get mad at Gerard Mayo, that he throws people under the bus. Because Gerard Mayo says comments just like this, where he says, oh, well, it's things need to change. It's this, this, this. I need to change too. But then it's also, if things don't change outside of me, what are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, buddy, how about you, like you said, set the edge a little bit. Play better run defense. Instead of pressuring a quarterback, why don't you sack him? I believe he said a few weeks ago or earlier in the season, he doesn't believe that one offensive lineman, one tackle, one guard should be able to block him. Guess what, buddy? They've been doing it. So if you don't like this coaching style, that's fine. That doesn't negate you sucking on the field. And I'm sorry, I know people will say, well, you can't, pressures still count, all that stuff. That's great. Cool. Pressures are awesome. But like we've said, what separates the good players or the okay players from the great to elite ones? They turn those pressures into production, into sacks, and you don't make the same repeated mistakes all the time, which is what Keon White is doing. So there's other quotes, but I want to know your guys' opinion on kind of what he said and all that stuff. I think you can kind of see my opinion. Where are you guys at with him?
I think I have a hunch.
Like, dude, just like play your position. Oh my God.
I just think it's a testament to the whole organization right now. Because Gerard Mayo is saying, whatever's on his mind, which is fine, but he has to backtrack a lot. Like I mentioned earlier, Keon White, same thing. He's mad. He's pissed off. He's saying what a lot of players and what a lot of fans are feeling about this team right now. Major changes need to come. And by the way, it's not just a message to Gerard Mayo. It's a message to Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft to be like, you guys are the one that screwed this up. When Brady left, you never did anything. When Belichick left, you left us with Gerard Mayo, and you gave it to guys. You gave the positions of importance, by the way, to guys on the inside that may or may not have been ready for it. And now look at the product on the field. In the last two seasons, you are looking at going 7-27 in the last two seasons with a loss to Buffalo on Sunday. You're also looking at about, and I'm going to be maybe a little bit off with this, but right around a 2-15 or 2-16 record at home.
Mhm.
Do you
Yeah,
remember the
I
Brady
was like
days
2 and
where
15.
you feared coming to New England? You knew coming to New England you're probably not going to win the game. Now it's to a point where NFL teams, I know I'm getting off tangent a little bit, but it's where NFL teams come in and they're like, this is an easy dub. This is going to be easy. This place,
Yeah, but that time's over. We
Come
can't
on.
compare
no,
shit
I
to
know, I
Brady and
know, I know,
Belichick
I
era,
know,
you
I know.
know?
And you're right, and you're right. But with that, right? Okay, then
Reel
fine.
me in here, Al.
Fine. Forget the Brady comments. Look at the last 5 years. Look at the last 5 years without him. Look at the
Yeah.
last 5 years where you've had opportunities to do things. Fine, 4 years because Liam is
No,
so
no, 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 no,
sensitive
no.
about
You
Cam
missed your
Newton.
shot.
What?
I thought you were going to use the great comparison when you brought in the NBA. The terrible Charlotte Bobcats. I thought you were going to use that quote.
What was the quote? I now I'm
when
intrigued. What's the quote?
when Bismack Biyombo got a block on Rudy Gay when the Grizzlies were in town playing the Bobcats had the worst record in
Yeah, they
NBA
were
history.
horrible. They were
Yeah,
horrible.
and so Bismack Biyombo gets a block in the third quarter and screams, "This is our house!" And Rudy Gay looks at him and goes, "You have 4 wins. This is everyone's house." I thought that's the quote you were going to
I didn't
use.
even know that was a thing. That's a
Oh,
good quote, Liam.
That's
I
how
do
it
that's
like that.
is.
unbelievable.
I'll give you that. That's a good quote. But yeah, to reel it back in, I mean, look at what has happened the past 4 years, and now the first year of the post Belichick era, where you want these changes, you want a different style, which again is fine, but you have to pick one way and you have to stick with it. You want to be aggressive? Fine, go be aggressive. You want to play conservative like Belichick did? Fine, be conservative. You want to speak what's on your mind? That's fine, but you back it up. You don't keep backtracking and everything else too. That's part of the problem is this unclearness, this uncertainty of what direction you want to go in. And if you continue to do that, you're going to continue to suck and you're going to continue to have top 5 draft picks, which give me the talent because you need 52 pieces, 53
That's the
pieces.
process.
But
But what does that
yeah,
have to do with Keon White, a second-year player who's been underwhelming, speaking out like this? You know what I
what it
mean?
has to
Because
do
you
with is
have
what it has to do with is he feels like at this point he can just voice it with no consequences, with no, whatever. Like
yeah,
that's
no, I
that's
get
what I'm
that.
coming from. The culture
Okay.
shift is what I'm saying.
That makes sense. Now, I would give more credence to like giving Keon White a little bit more of a pass here, but you have other than Kayshawn Boutte calling out AVP, two young guys, every other player to a man has defended or at least had politically correct things that they've said about Mayo and the front office and everybody else. So this fucking guy coming out and talking like this, I'm not going to say, oh, well, he's following the leadership of the coach because that's not what like that. So why aren't the other players doing that? So this is a player issue. Like because Mayo's backtracking comments, you are full well 100% correct. He needs media training. He needs to shut up sometimes and just
Right.
be better. But this, when you have players like Kendrick Bourne coming out, I got his quote too after the game. Kendrick Bourne said to when everybody was booing, he said to the fans, give us some patience and we'll keep working. Like that's we can't all be Kendrick Bourne. Dietrich Wise has comments that I'll talk about. Devin Godshaw has
Yeah.
comments as well. It's like
Yeah.
Keon White just it just comes off as this like, and then him, I got 2 more years and we'll see what happens. Like, bro, fucking go then. How about we trade you to move up into like the second or first round again then? Because
I
you've
know.
done shit.
I
Like,
know.
I'm sorry. You had a good first year. You fell off a little bit at the end. You started really good this year, and then you fell off, which I'm not even putting all that blame on Keon White, because
Right.
he even said himself earlier in the year that players are playing out of position and stuff. But
Right.
now all of a sudden it's an internal thing. There's, things I won't talk about. That's all I'm going to say. Shut up.
I know,
Sorry,
but we know
Liam.
what he's talking. But we know what he's talking
No, we
about
do
too.
for sure. But guess what?
It's
This is the shit you do. This people talk about culture, players that are going to be. This isn't a guy you keep if you want to build a good culture. I'm sorry. These comments this year, this is unless he turns it around and like actually maybe produces on the field too, and you can put up with these comments, a la like Rob Gronkowski or shit like that. You put up with the off-field stuff because of the
right
on-field.
because the on-field.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is not a good culture quote to me. Like I am.
It's not.
I'm that like Liam saying you got to, scout the offensive line. I'm getting rid of anybody who doesn't want to build this. That's why Jalen Polk gone. Javon Baker has not said one bad thing. and he's been a healthy scratch so many times. He's basically saying, I've been trying. I got to work on me. I got to show the coaches that I'm a starter. That's the type of guy you want, not this bullshit. So I'm sorry, Liam.
I'm just confused here because are you saying because he hasn't been good, he shouldn't have these quotes?
No, I'm saying that if he was playing better, or like he doesn't even have to be an elite level guy, just if he was producing more, these quotes you
Then
can
he
kind
could
of
say
be
these
like,
quotes?
yeah, yeah, 100%. Your on-field production kind of gives you leeway with what you say or what people give you passes for in the media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. Like he can still say these regardless, but it's just they would be reacted to differently if he was producing, because then it'd be like, well, he's doing all he can on the field, but you're not. He's still making all these same mistakes. So for him to even mention any other changes, like that's
yeah,
that's the crazy part. That's what I mean.
I think, Keon White's the only one who appears to have gotten media training on this fucking team. I think this is the best quote I've heard all year.
That's
Like
crazy. I gotta hear
truly, like
why.
I
I
think
gotta
this is
hear why.
fantastic. So like when you look at the quote, like he takes all the onus on himself. So he's
No, he
clearly
doesn't.
saying, I yes, he does. I
No, he
hope so.
doesn't, because
If
he passes the blame to other things.
no, for
Yes,
me,
I
it's
just
not for
told you
me
he
to
did.
decide. I'm changing me, changing how I play the game. That's indicative of
And then he
my what
also
I'm
says
doing isn't
that
working.
coach do
He
okay.
says, I hope so. We ain't talking about the coaches. It's not for me to decide, which it isn't. He has absolutely no say in any of those. Like,
True,
I don't
very
even know
true.
if
Yeah.
JJ Watt on the Texans when he was in his prime had say over who got on the fucking roster.
As he
It's really
shouldn't,
only
yeah, for sure.
quarterbacks. Yeah. But the dude's tired of losing. I bet this blows. Demario Douglas comes out after the game. They ask him about Keon White's questions. This was Demario Douglas's quote. I
His
feel
quote is
like
so much better.
yeah, but he agrees with Keon White. He
And
agrees with
it's
Keon
all
White for a
in.
reason. But he agrees for a reason because Keon's right.
Yeah,
Keon White is
that's the
right.
thing. I think everybody, like what he's saying, kind of like what you guys said, where like he is saying somewhat what fans are saying, or probably how people feel. But part of we're talking about it with Mayo. You need to say it the right way to the media.
But
That's what I'm saying.
we suck. Like the
For
the
sure.
elephant is in the
And
room.
he's not helping.
The specter is in the house wielding a knife. Like we have to
True.
fucking mention the fact
Vidarian Lowe is here.
that this is terrible. That we're starting Vidarian low. Like we're going, our expectations are very low. Like we're fucked. And like he's merely saying that we're on a shit team and players aren't being used properly, and he'd be one of them, and he's going to change his play. But maybe he's just a pass rush specialist, which very much exists. Chase Young, who was like, I think he was the first overall fucking pick, is only a pass rush specialist. He sucks. He's not great, but like he sucks at run game, and even with pass rush, he's not stellar, but he's you know. That's what they use him
Mhm.
for. Josh
Yeah.
Sweat on the Eagles. They only bring him in when on third down when it's a clear cut rushing the passer situation. Ndamukong Suh in his last year on the Eagles, he was just in there on passing downs and times when they think they would throw the ball. Like some guys are just pass rush guys. Hassan Reddick, who doesn't fucking play for the Jets, he is a pass rush specialist. And that's probably what Keon White should be used for at this point until he changes his game as he's talking about and maybe improves in the run game because he has probably no confidence, much like everyone on this fucking team, because it's not their house, it's everyone's house, and they're getting clapped by 40 at home. Like, it's no one is really having a good time. Spirits aren't high. He wants something to change. I
Yeah.
think it's the best fucking quote because he was stoic. He took a lot of onus on himself, but he also said whatever's going on isn't fucking working. We lost with the greatest head coach last year. We're losing with our new coach this year. When you're in the boat and it's sinking, you're going to mention that there are a couple holes or the boat's going to go down and you're going to be that violinist at the end of the Titanic who says fucking nothing but plays all his tunes and then drowns to fucking death. Like
Right.
you got to say something. You got to do something whatever you can as a player. If I was on this team, I'd be way fucking worse. I'd be like, holy shit, we suck. I'd be cussing out everyone and anything. But like, he has a good bit of media training, and I thought this was fantastic.
Okay. Like I can't I get what you're saying. I hear where you're coming from, and I can, if I was thinking that way, I would feel the same way. But yeah, I just think it's
You're just mad because he's not producing. And I
it's
agree, he's not producing.
well, it's also
And
not
he
just that.
knows he's
I
not
don't like when
producing.
players come out and
But you love
you do
Demario
this
Douglas's quote,
weird.
which is the same thing.
Read his quote because it's completely
I
different
am.
how he says it. He says one thing about other stuff, and then when he says things
Well,
need to
he
change,
echoes the
he's talking about
sentiment.
losing.
He echoes, yes, he does, but he echoes the sentiment of Keon White. The question was about Keon White. He agrees with
True.
Keon White. He says, I feel like this game right here, I feel like this game right here alone have a bad taste in everyone's mouth, just because we lost at home. I feel like my 2 years, I've been losing. I feel like it's time to make a change. A lot of feelings here. We got some
Yeah, I
pieces.
noticed that.
Yeah, we'll add more pieces next year. I feel like we could
Yeah.
come out and do something, you know? He said, I'm trying to be in the playoffs. I'm trying to go for a run. I'm trying to have a winning season. I'm tired of losing. That's what everyone's saying. And this is in response to
That
Keon
is
White's post.
completely different than Keon White's though. You got to see how it's like. It's more of like a general and an internal thing. Keon White left the. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's above my pay
But
grade.
it's
All
also
that stuff.
realistic.
I
Keon
don't
White
give a
says, I
fuck
mean,
if it's
I hope
realistic.
so.
That's crazy.
I hope so. If changes aren't made, then what are we doing? Which is what we talk about every week when we get on
We
the
aren't
show.
on the team.
But we're talking about the
That
team.
doesn't matter. That'd be like
Kinda
me and Al
does.
talking. That'd be like me and you talking about Al to like whatever other people being like, like me and Liam are doing what we can. I get
Yeah,
things,
but
changes has
Al's
to come.
just
I don't
such a
know what.
fucking
I don't know
nerd.
what, but changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like I don't know. There's
Yeah.
one nerd on the
Even though you come and
podcast.
hang
It's
out
not
with me all the
me.
Yeah,
time
of
when the
course.
opportunity presents itself.
No,
Yeah.
but I get what you're saying, and I do like at the end of the day, what he's saying is generally it is true though.
It
Changes
is.
do have to
The
be
NFL
made.
is a production-based
All that
business. Yes,
stuff.
it is.
Yes, it
So
is
if we're not
Keon
doing
White.
it,
Remember
if we're
that.
not doing anything to change our production, which is loss, what are we doing?
I
Yes, I
I
agree.
want to ask him what he's doing every week because it doesn't seem like he's doing anything right.
Okay. It could be. And I will put some
I'm
onus
done
on
after
him.
this, by the way.
But it
I'm
could
done.
also be that the defensive coordinator's clueless, that no one knows what they're doing, that people are playing out of position, that everything just
Yes,
fucking sucks.
I think
out of
that's what it
position is
is.
true. Out of
Like
position is true, but
I
he's
think there are
also making
fantastic defensive
mistakes.
players that have been stuck in terrible defensive schemes.
Oh yeah,
And that's just
Kyle Van Noy.
yeah.
One of
Well,
them, he
he's
came here
gone
was
now.
a yeah, but when he was
Yeah,
with other teams, came here was great
100%.
over on the
Yeah.
Ravens. Yeah, he's got what like 11 sacks or something. That'd be good.
Yeah, you have to be
Um,
put in the right position.
yeah. So speaking of players calling people out, you guys see Daniel Aquale's quote?
No,
This
I
was
heard of
this
it, but I
one.
didn't see it.
This one was like, whoa, because it kind of echoed. I think Dietrich Wise or Gotcha, I forget which
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
One of them
yeah. No,
said
I know what
something
you're
about
talking
it.
about now. Yeah, I saw this.
Daniel Aquale said, I feel like towards the end of the fourth quarter, some of the guys just give up and some guys play to the end of the whistle. To speak for myself, I've seen a lot of stuff out there. It feels like a lot of guys start giving up when things get hard. I don't know who he's talking about. I'm not going to say Keon White. I may think it, but I'd never say it. I'd never say it's Keon White, even if I think that's what it is. I'm not going to say that. But I think you have to weed out almost every one of these guys who's too far gone. You got people, and it was Dietrich Wise, I think, who said it. I don't know, maybe it was Gotcha because he's been talking a lot of shit too. But there are players you're just starting to see when teams start to lose, the character of the players, the fans, the coaches, everything kind of shows up, like the type of players and people all these people are. And if you have players doing all that, you either got to get in line this offseason or get the fuck out. I don't know who they
No,
are. I don't want to speculate.
but that's
Keon
not
White, I don't
true.
know.
When the team's losing, all the bad character shows, almost none of the good character shows. Like when
No.
when you're 500, that's when real character shows because you're
True.
middle of the road, you're stuck in limbo, and you want to win every game, and other players are okay with coasting. Like, okay, we got 6 wins, that's fine. So some players are fine with that, and
Mhm.
others want to get to 10 wins, and they'll show such. Like I watched Hard Knocks, the Arizona Cardinals. It was J.J. Watts last year, maybe second last year, and he was talking about how difficult it is to get himself psyched up to lose fucking, 10 games a year. And
Right.
Takes a
he
lot, I
is an
bet. Yeah.
all-time effort guy. He's fantastic, one of the greatest defensive linemen ever. And even he's like, dude, like I'm at the end of the line here. It's very difficult. Like I want to finish my career strong, and he played
Mhm.
fantastic because he's a Hall of Famer. He shows Hall of Fame effort,
Yeah.
but he's an outlier. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. And if he was struggling to get it going when they were
Mhm.
losing a ton of games, like what do you expect from guys who aren't in the Hall of Fame, who are like 2 years in, and all they've known is losing? Yeah, they probably fucking take their foot off the pedal in the second half of games because they lose in the second half of games consistently. They probably started out trying really hard and lost. And in the
Hopefully,
first
yeah.
first 5, 6 games of the season, they're trying like madmen, like Keon White was, just balling like crazy in the first half of the game. And then when they're like, all right, I'm giving 110% and we're still losing by week 11, 12, and 13, you're like, I guess like I'll give it 75 because we're going to lose because we've won three
I get
fucking
that.
games.
That's a
Well,
human
also too,
element,
yeah,
but you
and also
can't.
too, look at
You
the
can't do it. I get it. You get paid a lot of
Yeah.
money to do
Depends
such,
on
but
who it
like,
is too. Like there's
yeah,
so
and
many
look at
different aspects that go into it. Yeah.
and look at on the field too. This season alone, you're 3-13, probably going to be 3-14. You're 2-6 in one score games. You have 6 losses where you've gotten blown out this year by 20 points or more. Like that's where Keon White's frustration, Daniel Okwale, Devon Godchaux, that's where all these guys' frustration is coming from.
Yeah.
And that's why they're saying we need change. We need something to change. And you can't change all the players. You can't get, I'm going to say 50 new players because we know of a couple that we're definitely keeping, and we'll get to that segment later. But you need something different. And if I'm Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft, I'm listening to these guys and being like, you know what? I think they're right. This is ridiculous. All right,
I
I'm going to
do
get
think
into
you're
this
right.
now before I forget it. So, Mike, I'm going to transition because there is something that actually goes into this offseason. I had a thought about this yesterday as I was watching the Patriots game. Quick trivia question for you guys, and this is really easy. When was the last year the Patriots went to the playoffs?
Mac Jones first year,
Was
And what year
21,
was that?
right? Because that was
21.
his.
That was 2021.
Yeah.
What the year before in 2020, the Cam Newton year, Liam, you'll know this because you love
I
everything
don't
about
know.
Cam Newton. You have the shrine to him. What was the Patriots record that year? You're on mute.
8-9.
Incorrect. 7-9. But anyways,
7-9.
Whatever.
so
You were
which
right,
is
but
close.
now this 17
Yeah,
fucking game
yeah,
season got you
it could have
fucked
been
I,
on.
up.
I didn't know when that switchover was.
Okay. So, and correct me if I'm wrong. The Patriots went on a spending spree in 2021, right? In the
Yeah, John
offseason.
Smith.
So I'm going to just list
That worked out
all the
great.
guys that were free agent signings or re-signed by the Patriots. And you're going to notice something here, right? Okay, and I'm going to name them all. Adrian Colbert, Tyler Gaffney, Wes Farnsworth, Alex Redmond, Harvey Langai, Leroy Reynolds. Hold on. We'll get the players. Hold on. Hold on.
He's fine.
Raekwon McMillan, Montrevious Adams, Kyle Van Noy, Ted Karras, Hunter Henry, Henry Anderson, Nelson Aguilar, Matt Judon, Jalen Mills, Devon Godchaux, Jonnu Smith, Trent Brown. Returners, James Ferenz, J.C. Jackson, Brian Hoyer, Jacob Johnson, Lawrence Guy, James White, Nick Folk, David Andrews, Cody Davis, Carl Davis, Dietrich Wise Jr., Justin Bethel. You brought Cam Newton before you got rid of him. But anyways, that was
Okay.
probably about
It got better. The list got a little better.
I know. And I listed all of them, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
you added or re-signed about 20 guys during that offseason.
Yeah.
During that offseason alone. And when you look at the guaranteed money that they spent close to 138 million guaranteed for at least like 10 of those players.
Good.
And here's why I'm making that comparison. This offseason, it's a parallel to the 2021 offseason. You have the quarterback. You weren't, and that was a thing in 2021. We didn't know who the quarterback was going to be. We didn't
Huge
know if
thing.
Cam
Yep.
Newton or Mac Jones. Now you have the quarterback. You have a young stud on defense in Christian Gonzalez. Now you need to build around them. You're going to get a top 5 pick. That's been solidified. They may even have top 3 before the end of this recording. So we're recording on Sunday, December 29th. So when this comes out, the Patriots could have a top 3 pick by then. Here's my whole point. You need to attack this offseason just like you attacked 2021. Go out, make the signings, and you have that top draft pick. That's the big thing. You're going to have the number 2 pick. In my opinion, Mike, I know you've come around a little bit. Liam, not so much yet. Take Travis Hunter if he's on the board. Don't overthink this. He's a blue chip prospect. This draft really isn't that good in
Did
terms of
Travis Hunter
overall
play
talent.
last night?
Yeah, he did. He scored a touchdown too.
Yeah, he
Hey,
had a
Oh,
nice
one
little
of the
catch and
two.
run.
Right.
hey,
Okay.
listen, he
That's
Fedora
can't
it.
be the whole
Sanders.
team, but he can help. But he can help. Take Travis Hunter.
He really locked down those Mormons, huh? What
Take
great
Travis
cornerback
Hunter.
play.
You don't know talent. Take
Take
Travis
Travis
Hunter
Hunter.
Couldn't lock down a bunch of
and
5'8"
sign because
unathletic
here's the
religious
thing,
white
right?
guys.
Here's the
Oh
thing.
God, what a
And
Heisman winner.
keep
I know,
going
I
on.
know, I know. Here's the thing, right? You're better off drafting what you think is going to be almost a can't miss. Like, of course, draft picks can miss, but
Unless they have a Mormon,
the
then
the
you're fucked.
best the best that can be the best prospect that you can get.
Mhm.
Go get him because you can have control of them.
Mhm.
I see everybody on Twitter, like even you and me too. T. Higgins, Chris Godwin. They're not going to want to come here if it's total
He was so
dysfunction.
bad.
So unless you wholly overpay for them, you're not going to get them. Like everyone's like T. Higgins to the Patriots, slam dunk. It's not a slam dunk.
No,
Like,
no, no, it's not at all. But
but if you can get Travis Hunter or Tet McMillan, who I don't know if he's going to pan out, but if you get Tet McMillan, at least you have somebody that you don't have to go out and spend money on. You can
Mhm.
draft them. Nail the draft picks, overspend in free agency if you need to get yourself in a respectable position. You
Yeah,
don't have to go
overspend.
because again, look what happened in 2021. You went 10-7 and made the playoffs with Mac Jones, who now sucks. And he had a great rookie year.
Yeah.
You had pieces on defense, you had some offensive players with Josh McDaniel still intact. If you have the OC, you nail the free agency and you get the draft pick, you can
Mhm.
probably get up at least in 2025 to maybe a 7-win team. And then in 2026, if you do it again the correct way, but add those, secondary pieces, then in 2026, I think we can talk about legitimate playoff shot, but they have to nail it. And this is the offseason where the foundation is set.
Has
Set
to
it
be.
now.
Has
If
to be
we
spent.
if we
Overspend too.
yes,
100%.
but if we have to nail it, I would rather not use our number 2 overall pick on a guy that's getting burned by Elijah with 8 wives who knows scripture.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Pros and college kids aren't allowed to have one bad game or mediocre game. I didn't know that. I'm
So
Well, it's
sorry.
kind of an important game, kind of a big one, and also when you
They're
win the
playing in the
Heisman,
Alamo Bowl. What are we
it's
talking
it's a
about?
bowl game though. I like to think you would try hard in the last game of the season, but maybe
He
I'm
had a
wrong.
touchdown reception. Like what else do you want?
And he gave up as many touchdowns as the dude who scored the touchdown has wives.
good. I don't want him as a corner.
I
Good.
want
Yeah.
him as a receiver.
Please
Oh
keep
my
giving up
God.
touchdowns then, because I
Yeah,
want him
he
as
he
a
had he had
receiver.
one touchdown in garbage time when they
No,
were
he's
down.
so with Al, I get what you're saying with the T Higgins thing. I do think that he can be bought and sold on God. I should holy shit be
I
talking
wouldn't
about
say
people like
sold,
that.
but I
But
can get
yeah,
behind you.
so sold on it in the sense where like he can sit down with whatever front office, whatever changes, whoever is there. You can have Drake May in the room too. And it's like, listen, this is what we're doing. These are the plan. This is what we think we're going to do this free agent or this kind of off season. Can't give you all specifics because you're not on the team, but like we're building something here. The Patriots name still holds a little bit of value with some people, not as much, but it's still something there because it is still like a legacy team in that sense. But it's just like, if you can get him, I don't want to hear shit about people saying they're going to have to overspend. That's free agency. You're going to have to overspend on people. And the Patriots have plenty of money to do it.
Mhm.
So I think it's all going to depend on what they do in the free agency, should be what they do in the draft. I am a little bit or a lot more open to Travis Hunter. That's assuming they handle the offensive line issues, or even if they don't, whatever. There's a bunch of moving parts. I'm not set in stone on anybody, but I would love to see T. Higgins here. I think that would be great. They do need to have an offseason like that 2021 offseason where they do need to sign
Mhm.
bunch of people, sign depth pieces as well, sign your own guys too that you want to bring back or whatever, if there are any, whatever it is, make some trades. I know that Elliot Wolf isn't big in trading picks and things like that, but
Yeah.
maybe you're going to have to trade some for some guys. You have to give up whatever, some picks to get Metcalf or Debo. Maybe I know he's kind of a more of a pipe dream, but I don't know. They got to do something. But no, I do agree with that 2021 take. They have to do something like that. They should be
It's
signing 18 people, and if you can
yeah.
hit on half those,
Then
like
that's a
I'm
success.
fine with that. Especially if those half are couple offensive linemen and a receiver.
Right.
Totally
Then
fine with that.
if you can improve.
And a pass rusher too, by the way. We got to throw
Well,
that
I
in
was
there. That's
I was
huge.
even going to say, if you just improve on the offensive line and the receiving room this year, like going into 2025,
Mhm.
then you can focus on the defense. Then you can focus on getting
Yeah.
a couple young linebackers, like you said, a pass rusher,
Mhm.
maybe like a defensive tackle, maybe another corner to help you, a safety, whatever. But you can then focus on the defense again. But right now, the priority should be offensive tackle and wide receiver, and they're interchangeable to me. Like
Yeah. Just
because you
depends on
have
what you do.
you have 2 months. You have the month of March when free agency opens and April when the draft is.
Mhm.
That's your 2 month window to get better on with both of those position groups. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to
Wholeheartedly
make sure I
agree.
got that out before the end of the
Yep.
episode. But
Wholeheartedly agree. Um, to end it, I do want Liam or Al, you did give
yeah,
Liam a homework assignment. I kind of did it too. I don't know if you did.
I did.
But it doesn't have to be like a long thing or whatever. But you asked us basically 10 foundational pieces or players that you want, that you need, not even want, that you need to have next year. That if
Yes,
you could, if you could pick 10, which Liam and
right.
I spoke a little bit before, it was tough. You got to like 7, it was like, well, shit.
I know.
Um, 10 people that you could pick. So I think since you asked Liam, I don't know
Yeah,
if maybe Liam should start it. And like, if they're on our list, we'll just say, oh, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we'll just do kind of like a quick little round robin. Liam, you give your list, Al, me,
yeah. Whatever.
whatever, overlaps and
I'll
all that stuff.
to take the pressure off Liam, I'll even go first so he can like totally chastise it because Liam's the one I'm interested in the most. Because Mike,
Flattered.
you are level-headed sometimes, but you also can understand when a piece needs to be in place. You don't just say everybody sucks. Because if everybody sucked, then it'd be like Madden, playing every year and just trying to get new players, all that stuff. You need to keep some guys, even if you don't think they're fully foundational pieces, but they can still be part of the organization some way. So here's
Mhm.
my 10. I'm going to go top my 10 Patriots to keep in 2025. The first two are obvious. Drake May, Christian Gonzalez. Easy, no debate. Boom.
Yep. I think we all have them.
Kayshawn Booty. You have to have Booty on there because the connection with Drake May he's had. I know we talked about him. I know he said some stuff, but Keon White, he's still young enough. He still can make an impact on defense. I think you got to keep him. Antonio Gibson. This is a surprise one, but he's been a good free agency signing.
A good one.
You need to have a back, like a dependable back. And again, with these lists, just real quick, with these lists, we're gonna have guys that are interchangeable. We're gonna have guys that
Of
probably,
course.
Mike has whatever, but it is what it is. Mike and Wenu, you need a young offensive lineman. He's got to be in there somehow. David Andrews, captain, foundation, still a winner. Like he's won 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots, so he still knows what it takes to win. Pop Douglas, need another receiver in there.
I got him on there. Yeah.
Hunter Henry, tight end, one of Drake May's favorite targets, red zone
Mhm.
threat. He's had some really good years in New England, even though the production as a whole hasn't been great. My number 10 is going to be my only controversial one. I went with Jonathan Jones for 2 reasons. One, he's a second corner. He doesn't have to be your primary corner because you already have Christian Gonzalez. And he's one of those locker room pieces where he's been here. I think he would, not that he's won Super Bowl, but he's been a part of like the playoffs and everything else too when they were in 2021. So I think, yeah, I think with Jonathan Jones, you have a little bit of veteran leadership back there, and again, you give a little bit of a breather for Christian Gonzalez to not have to make every single play in the secondary. So that's just me. But so
Yeah.
again, Drake May, Christian Gonzalez, Kayshawn Booty, Keon White, Antonio Gibson, Mike Nwenu, David Andrews, Pop Douglas, Hunter Henry, Jonathan Jones. Those are my 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna rattle off mine real quick because I want to hear Liam. So obviously I got
Yep.
Gonzo, I got Drake May, got Pop Douglas, Hunter Henry, David Andrews. I did pick a Jones. I picked Marcus Jones though.
I had him originally.
Not that I don't want Jonathan, but I had to pick 10 because I think that Marcus
Yeah.
Jones is good punt returner, a little bit of offense. I think he's developed
Yeah.
into a pretty good corner too, even though he did get burned that one game. But
Yeah,
Garrett
the
Wilson's tough.
injury concerns are the
So
only thing that
true.
kept him off my list. That's
I
the
get
only
that.
thing.
I put Christian Barmore on there. I know, and that's assuming his blood clots are better. I
Right.
put Jawan Bentley on there. I think we've seen what happens with this
Yeah,
defense when
well,
he's not around.
I like
So
that
you
one.
got to have him. I put Peppers on there. Jabril Peppers.
Okay.
I think he's a good, just kind of on field guy. That was really my one stretch. And then I also got Anthony Jennings. I like him. I
Okay.
like what he's doing. When you have Jawan Bentley there, I think Jennings is that much better because he's not asked to do more. But yeah, I did not have Keon White on my list. Just
That no, that's fair. Those are some good ones. Like
yeah,
Jabril
I
Peppers,
tried
I
to
can
go a
get
little bit out
behind.
of the box. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no.
wasn't gonna put Drake May on there, but I put him on. Whatever. It is what it is.
But yeah,
All
no,
right,
I like Peppers. There was another one that I really liked that I didn't have. But
Jennings,
anyways,
Peppers,
Jennings
Jennings.
is interesting.
Yeah,
Jennings
Bentley.
is an issue.
I
Bentley,
like
that was the
Jennings.
one.
Yeah, I like
I
him. I
like
think
Bentley.
Jennings has showed. I think Jennings has showed, some pretty good promise. But I don't know. Just like everybody else on the defense, he's playing out of position a lot. So it is
Right.
what it is. But all right, Liam, 10 guys. Who you got? I know Michael
Uh,
Wenu is number one. And
Yes.
notice I didn't have him on my list, Liam. Notice I did that for
Yeah.
you.
Well, for good reason, because he sucks.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
no.
So obviously we'll get the big ones out of the way. First four: May, Douglas, Gonzo, Hunter.
okay.
All staples. They're all
Easy.
fucking
Keep
So
staying.
we
them.
all agree
That's a
on those
layup.
four. We all agree
Yeah.
on those four.
That's a
Yeah.
layup. And
Okay.
we do have a lot of crossover here. I do have David Andrews. He's
Good.
uncontaminated. He was able to stay out of this mess. You got to bring him
Yeah.
back for as long as we'll have him. Like he can
Oh
stay.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I do have Booty. Give me
Yep.
Booty. Yeah.
I don't
Give
hate
me
it. I didn't have him, but I
yeah.
don't hate it. I just
Yeah.
picked Pop instead of him. That's all. But
Yeah.
Understandable.
yeah, I like him though. He showed up. He's developed this year. One of the few players.
So this was tough for me. It was between Bentley or Barmore, and Barmore seems like he's dying, so I had to go with Bentley, which
Yeah.
sucks. Obviously, like in a perfect scenario, if I had to choose the two, I'd probably choose Barmore, but Bentley
If he
got
was
the
healthy, 100%.
yeah,
Yep.
Bentley got the cut. I love you, Barmore. And then eight, I did have Jabril Peppers. I love him.
That's fair.
That arresting incident only showed he's got the grit to play football. I'm all in on Jabril Peppers. Um, and then I had Keon White. So I think he's a staple. I think he has all the talent in the world. He's just being misused. I really think he can be that stud pass rush guy.
I get it. I like him. I am not. I am still leaving the door cracked for him.
Yeah,
We're just in a fight right now. That's all.
like
Yeah.
exactly. And I have to have him. Like he's the only one that gave me anything to like really be excited about to start this season when Drake May wasn't playing. Like he was box office for
You did
four
well. Yep.
games.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And then my number 10, which I don't think anyone mentioned here. Maybe
I
I'm
forgot
wrong.
someone
Maybe I
huge,
misheard.
which I got to put him back on there.
I
But
know, and
who?
I wonder if it's this guy, Brandon Schooler. Like
No, but
Yeah.
my guy is
I
on special
have to
teams
have him.
though. Oh,
Okay, that's what I was afraid of. I have
Oh,
to
I
have
know
Brandon
Mike's. Yeah,
Schooler.
yeah, yeah.
I have
Brandon
to have
Schooler,
Brandon Schooler. Like,
100%.
dude, playing on defense, he's been serviceable, but on special teams, he still lights out. Like,
He's Matthew
I,
Slater, but white.
yeah, I will take him. And with luscious long hair, he's a perfect mix of Clay
Mhm.
Matthews and Brandon, fucking Matthew Slater.
God about it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of Matthews going on there. But yeah, that's what I got. That's my 10. There's a lot of
That's a good
overlap there
one.
because I really
That is
think
good.
they're out of like the entire 53-man roster. I think there's probably 15 that we can keep.
I was just gonna
So
say
the
that's a good
last
number, 15.
five get interchanged,
Mhm.
for all of us, depending on priorities and whatnot. But
Yeah.
there's literally 15 guys that we would keep, and the rest can be,
Yeah.
I do
shot
want to
off and
ask you
moved.
guys, and like be for real for a second.
Yeah.
Of those top 15 guys, don't do it just because it's Mike, typical Mike bringing up this guy. Do you think Bryce Behringer should be one of those 15 guys? He is a very good punter.
Yes, he
10,
is.
10, top 10, no. If you
15.
expand it to 15, I can live with him being 14 or 15. I can live
Maybe.
with
Okay.
that.
I think we
But
have so many bigger problems right now that punting is like the 18th priority that we
right,
have.
exactly.
Like, if the rest
Because
of
you
the
have
team
Bryce
is
Behringer.
sick, no, if the rest of the team is sick and our punter sucks, I don't care. I
Okay.
want
I get it.
points.
I get what you're
Right.
saying. Just I like, the games
Yeah.
where maybe the offense is off or whatever. You at least have a
Which
punter
is
that
every
can help
game.
flip the field position.
Yes,
So
100%.
I would
When
put
we
him
have
there.
a solid defense and a lights out, high flying offense, then we can address the punter. But punter isn't much good to you in the last game that we just played because we'll pin the Chargers deep and they'll go on a, 18 play drive and score. So it doesn't matter when our defense sucks. The punter's job is useless if our defense sucks.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. It's just, which I understand. That's why you wouldn't have him on there. I'll put him on there. Just
In
he'd
fact,
be
it's
like
almost a
14 or
negative
15.
because you're punting it deep, you're locking them back, and then they
It's
take
gonna
a
be a
ton of
longer
time off the
drive.
clock. Yeah, they take a ton of time off the clock, and they still demoralize you.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know. I'll put him on there. You know who I wouldn't put Joey Sly on that list though. That's my
No,
guy.
Yeah,
no,
Joe
God,
Joe
no.
Sly.
Cardona. Maybe I have the long snapper on there. He's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Put him on the list.
he'd be
Maybe.
in my must carry over.
I'm surprised you don't have Joe Milton on there, but that's sort
Well,
of for another day.
I actually I thought about replacing Drake May with Joe Milton, but I knew
That'd be like me
I
putting
was
Jonas Gray on some
I was
list.
gonna start out the list with that, but I knew it would discredit everything after the fact. So
Yeah.
it's safe to say that Joe Milton's like number 11 for me.
Nah, he'll be a good backup. He'll be a good backup once
He'll be a
percent
fantastic
gets
starter
out of
one
here.
day.
All right. Anything else? Any other tidbits you guys want to throw out there? Get out.
Nothing too crazy. I mean, if you want some teams to root for to help the Patriots, just
Mhm.
with draft order, Jaguars playing the Titans, who hold both the third and fourth pick. So one of them hopefully will win, and then that
Well,
moves them
hopefully,
down.
yeah.
The Patriots, no matter what, will have a
If they
top
tie,
four.
I'd be so
That'd
disappointed.
be funny. It looks like Vegas is playing New Orleans, so that's
Okay.
another very winnable game. Cleveland's playing Miami. I think Miami should take care of business, but
Yeah.
I mean, you
Take
Tyler
never know.
Huntley.
care of business.
But yeah, so it looks like at the end of December 29th, the Patriots will have, at the absolute worst, if they were to somehow miraculously beat the Bills in Week 18, they have a top four pick,
Yeah.
which is fine.
So yeah, either way, they have all the ammo they need with money, draft, whatever. They can trade back, they can stay put, whatever they want to do. So
Right.
yeah, it's a big offseason.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But predictions for the next game, Bills are probably going to be playing their backups. Do you think it's going to be a competitive game? I do. I do think the Patriots might still lose, but I think it's going to be a competitive game.
It'll be like, I think it'll be like Bills 24-14,
Be
something
something
like that.
stupid. Yeah, like 19 to
Yeah.
17, some bullshit.
Something dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
I hope it
Pats,
snows.
hopefully
You take the
could win.
Pats?
No, but like I hope they
damn.
could win.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping they win, but I don't think they will. But I don't know. We'll see. All right. Yeah, just another depressing episode. Let's get to the off season where we have exciting stuff to talk about. So
Please.
episode 162 for Liam, Al, I'm Mike. This was Tuck Rule Takes. See you next week. See you in
Happy-
2025. That's
Happy
gonna be
New
it.
Year, everybody. Sports
Yeah.
Spider.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, Sports Spider. Yeah, I'm sorry. We will start next episode with Sports Spider, our first episode of 2025. We'll blow you guys out of the water. So in a good way. So see you guys later. Adios. Happy New Year.